at home by the Saints has made this game fascinating. If Dallas was 2-0, it wouldn't feel the same way. But Dallas, with a coach in the hot seat, is now 1-1, coming off a blowout loss again at home like the Packers. But the fascinating part of this is I love when you get two quarterbacks who we argue and debate over, and we do with Lamar and Dak, and they're on the same field. One's in, one's out. One's in, one's out. That's when you can really compare them. You know, a lot of times you're like, I like this guy, but he plays an easy opponent. I don't like this guy, but he plays a hard. They're playing each other, both with better than average defenses. And what's interesting is Lamar, though he's elite, is probably the only really great quarterback in this league that's constantly criticized. And Dak, who's B2B plus, has been elevated by everybody. He's currently the highest paid football player in the history of the league. Dak Prescott is viewed as elite. And so what's interesting is Lamar Jackson against teams like the Cowboys, NFC teams, is 20-1. 20-1. Dak against that conference also has a winning record. But 40% of Dak's wins against the weaker NFC have come against the Giants in Washington, where he's 23-4. Dak has feasted on totally dysfunctional teams. Now, they do have similarities. They both have winning records, especially in the regular season. Both have struggled in the playoffs. Both have won their division multiple times. Both are highly compensated. Both have Super Bowl winning head coaches. Both play for very prominent NFL franchises. But your eyes will tell you, in my opinion, Sunday, who's better. And here's the distinction between the two. Because you can tell me Dak's this and Lamar's only that. Here's the distinction. Lamar Jackson, in a better conference, certainly better at the top, Mahomes, Josh Allen, Burrow, now C.J. Stroud. Lamar Jackson is 19-14 against, we would acknowledge, playoff teams. Lamar against playoff teams in his career in the better conference with better quarterbacks is 19-14. Dak against playoff teams in his career in a weaker conference is 18-27. That is the difference. There's a lot of similarities with these two, and Dak is more respected and loved by fans than Lamar is. The difference is Lamar beats really good teams in a better conference, and Dak can't beat really good teams in an inferior conference. Lamar is more consistently great than Dak, especially when you play the big boys. Here's John Harbaugh on Sunday's matchup, and his offense as
you want to be known for something. What are you good at? What do they need to stop? What are they saying that they have to defend against you for your offense? At the same time, you don't want them to line up and know what you're doing every single play. We lead the league in yards, but the points have to come with it, and that's what we're going to chase. We were in that situation last year at one point in time, too, if you remember early in the season. So that's something that we have got to translate the yards into points. And to me, it comes back to consistency.
They lead the league in yards, does Baltimore, and they open with one of the top three defenses in the league, the Kansas City Chiefs in Kansas City. I like Baltimore, but more than anything, I'm fascinated to watch the two quarterbacks, one who's elite, who gets very little love from fans, and one who's very good, who is now the highest paid player in the history of this sport. J-Mac, I have Greg Cosell 45 minutes from now. Wide receivers make a lot of noise. They've always been the basketball players of football. They break the huddle first. It's sort of, they don't rely on anybody else necessarily other than quarterback, get the ball close. And they make a lot of noise. In the offseason, Jamar Chase, Brandon Ayuk, a lot of noise. I'm going to tell you the most valuable, not only receiver in the league, he may be the most valuable player in the league, not a quarterback. You will not believe what I'm going to tell you next.
Well,
you will
I guess?
No, I don't want you to guess. You will not.
Okay.
You will not believe it. I was shocked today. The most valuable player in this league that's not a quarterback. You won't believe it.
Wide receiver?
You won't believe it. That's next. Who is JLab? What is JLab? Personal technology company making headphones, earbuds for all uses, and work accessories like keyboards and mice. Make work life better. They pack the most functionality and fun into every product. Surprisingly awesome value. JLab's a proud partner with 16 D1 college sports programs. So whether you're traveling to watch your favorite team or streaming the game on your mobile device, JLab has you covered. For travel, I use J-Buds Lux over-ear headphones. Comfortable, longest playtime. For walks and working out, I use the J-Buds Sport ANC4. Secure fit, super long battery life. There's stuff for errands, walking around, like the Flex Clip. Flex Clip's great. You can listen to your podcast and hear the outside environment. The blue box is how you find JLab. I mean, you can go to jlab.com, but the blue box is at airports, Walmart, Target, Best Buy. And again, at jlab.com. Angeles, it's the Herd, wherever you may be and however you may be listening. Thanks for making us part of your day. Greg Cosell, 1 hour. You play fantasy football, bet football, want to get smarter. Rob Lowe stops by today. My friend Rob Lowe stops by today, J-Mac, and also Jordan Palmer. But it's interesting tonight. So you and I love betting the NFL. And in college, you see touchdown, 14-point, Alabama was a 16-point favorite over Wisconsin in Wisconsin. It's lopsided. There's like 8 programs, maybe 10 with just better players. Your Ohio States and your Texas, Georgia. But in the NFL, the Bears were only a 6-point underdog to the Texans, and we think the Texans are the best team in their division and could challenge for the AFC Championship. We think the Bears may be a 4th-place team. So a 6-point spread in the NFL is a big deal. Tonight, the Jets are a 6-point favorite against New England. New England doesn't beat themselves, one of only 3 teams in the NFL with no turnovers. And the Jets' offense is 20th in the NFL in yards per play. They're not moving the ball. So it's amazing. To me, it's like when you see lines that are 6. Atlanta, everybody thought Atlanta was going to go to Philadelphia and get housed in Philadelphia. And it was like, what, a 5-point spread, 5.5-point spread? The NFL odds makers are thinking tonight is a blowout in the Jets' favor. But Tennessee beat themselves as much as the Jets did. Will Levis is in the Bad Judgment Hall of Fame. They had a punt block, 2 turnovers. You're not going to get any of that from New England tonight. And to me, one of the things I'm trying to figure out in the first 2 or 3 weeks of the NFL is what's real and what's hype. And to this point, we have to be honest. Aaron and the Jets are a lot of hype. 3 weeks ago, it was Super Bowl talk. It's nonsense. They're 20th in yards per play, 27th in total offense, and it's Nat Hackett running the show. But I went even deeper on this because, San Francisco as an opener is tough. Aaron Rodgers was viewed as a savior. Now, he's talented, no doubt. But how talented? In his last 20 starts, and remember, it's overwhelmingly Green Bay starts. And when he was starting his last couple years in Green Bay, Detroit was 29th in the NFL in defense, Minnesota was 30th, and Chicago was last, his last year in Green Bay. So he got multiple starts from the worst defenses in the NFL, Aaron Rodgers did. Forget the win-loss record. He had a 91 passer rating. That is closer to the quarterback he will face tonight, Jacoby Brissett, than the elite guys in the league. Lamar Jackson gets criticized for pocket passing. He's 102. And he can run. Aaron's 40, doesn't run. He's solely a pocket guy. And he's slightly better than Jacoby Brissett as a pocket guy. And they're a 6-point favorite tonight. And one of the things I've always loved about the NFL, it's not a nostalgia league. Yesterday I'm driving around, I turned on a radio show on Sirius XM, and they're talking baseball in the 60s. And you never turn on a football show and it's like, let's talk about Hugh McElhaney. Anybody want to take a call on Otto Graham? Football's a now sport. It's not even Hollywood. They don't give out lifetime achievement awards while you're still playing. They do that in Hollywood while you're still acting. So right now, Aaron's immobile, expensive. He doesn't have a rushing yard this season and 54 dropbacks. And he's coming off an injury. So he's not quite totally in unison with the left side of the offensive line. He's throwing with a little lack of trust right now. So, tonight's game is gigantic. If they lose tonight, and Atlanta just went to Philadelphia and won as a similar dog. If they lose tonight, In 2 weeks, they face high-flying Minnesota. 3 weeks, they face Buffalo. I think this game is gigantic.